Well, that's a lot of teamfight cap, okay? You've got 5 heroes with massive teamfight abilities, and while on paper this might sound great, what often ends up happening when you draft lineups like this is that you kind of stumble over each other. You kind of get in the way. You're like, you see this amazing RP opportunity at the exact same time as you see an amazing Wyvern ulti, and you counteract each other. Or, wow, that was a great chrono, let's Pango ulti at the same time, and then you're just stuck in the chrono, you know?
Right.
You need really good communication to play a lineup like this. You have plenty of opportunities, but at the same time, it's also very big spells that need to land, and you don't have much in the way of like smaller stuff, like let's say a swap or a lion stun to get things started. It's very much around these like big combos. Where Vici game, you know, it's a little simpler in that sense. With Storm Jump can start a fight. You have a Rubik telekinesis.
Also,
I'm curious to see it.
I know this team fight, I know this meta is all about team fight. Apparently they're interchangeable, but like there's got to be some downside to just only drafting team fight, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the first thing was the whole thing about casting the spells being difficult, right?
Sure.
If there's a single hero doing something, what do you do as secret? Do you chrono it? Do you RP it? Do you curse it?
Okay.
And is that actually going to be enough when you're playing against Relocate? I think if Vici Gaming play the fights in a way where they send in like one hero here, one hero there, like fragment the fight, it gets really difficult for Secret to cast their spells properly. Like, who wants to go first on this Storm? Who wants to go first on the Timber when there is that Relocate threat behind? That's one weakness. The other one is, a lot of the time when you pick a lot of team fighters, they're not the best laners, and that's the case here too. Void not the best laner, Pango not the best laner. Magnus is pretty good nowadays, honestly, but, you know, the panel also talking about the team fighting supports. Lich and Wyvern. I think Lich is an amazing laner right now. Wyvern less so.
Wyvern definitely a little less so. We do have the teams trying to switch up the lanes a little bit. How do you view this, Center? And who came out on top in this switcheroo?
I think you're very happy getting a 3v2 as Vici Gaming just because there's no really good solution for the Timber Saw. He can play any 1-on-2 here against this lineup and get full levels, probably get some decent farm as well. And you want to get your gyro off to a good start, so I think they're pretty happy.
At the same time, at least Motoma Man isn't going to be pressured by a tri-lane here. Should be able to just kind of freely farm. Looks like Ori got skewered back into the tower. Good way for Nisha to get himself a lead.
That'll help in the bottom lane as well. Yep. The thing though, when you do 2v1 against a Timber like this is, let's say you play this lane for 4 minutes as 2 heroes. The moment Wyvern leaves, your Void is out-leveled by Timber.
Right.
And that can get scary when Timber gets 6, because he will just start non-stop harassing you with chakrams and his other spells, and you will probably be bullied away. So that is a bit concerning. Wow, that's a bro move.
Yeah, that really is.
To South. Sorry, I got skewered into tower.
Can somebody bail out my lane for me? Not to gank, but to give me one of your consumables. But after all, they don't really need the extra help so much in top lane because aggro tri-lane's a similar thing to you're talking about. Looks like he got skewered again. Jesus, Nisha, he's just on a roll right now and might be able to finish him off, but a Fairy Fire. Nisha actually recognizing that Fairy Fire doesn't overcommit for the kill underneath the tower. He also has a CS lead, thanks in part to Empower and how incredibly strong it is in the laning phase for Magnus, whose stats are already decently high.
I'm impressed that he got 2 skewers off, though. I know Storm has to come in close to put remnants, but he must have had some really good footwork on the mag in this lane. It's easier now that he has a haste turn, but now he's too low to really want to do it, possibly. But yeah, this Rubik TP mid to refill Storm obviously helps him a lot, but at the same time, it's not the biggest loss for Rubik. He wants to run bottom anyway and start pulling. They don't want to stay as a tri-lane forever up top, because then you run into the same trap as we talked about with Wyvern and Void in the 2v1, that you will get out-leveled too hard. And Pangolier getting 6 when your gyro is 4 is, can be really worrying.
So I imagine both supports. Oh, Ori getting pulled in, skewer forward, and what hit? It just feels like Ori has a little bit of a wrong read on this Magnus lane. You got to be careful. This Magnus is incredibly powerful, both in the harassment. They're going to pick off the courier here. They already delivered its goods, though, so Eurus, well, he may not feel comfortable fighting back, though, against the tri-lane that they brought in. The Wisp is already dead, and if Eurus gets slowed down here, PYW is going to help bail him out with a Fading Bolt, though.
Yeah, Zai got a good proc, but with Rubik there, they choose not to pursue, which is the right call for sure. Now this does leave the bottom lane in the situation we were talking about. So Timbersaw at the current point in time is level 4, and Void is almost level 4. So it's actually, they managed to do it in a way so that Matu doesn't fall too far behind on experience. Both of them have big waves following them now, and Yang will get that level 6 at a good timing, but hopefully for Matu, he's able to still be able to sustain himself in this lane.
I think it's a tactic that a lot of supports are using right now, is that they don't sit in the lane and soak experience so much. They really try and give that core most of the experience so they can roam around once you get to that sort of stronger point. And with a Void, it just needs the higher levels of time walk so he can deal with any Timbersaw harassment, and then he should just be good to CS.
Yeah, the downside for the Void here is he has to buy quite a lot of extra regen, right? He bought another Tango pack and a salve. I think these are new. At least the salve is new. Yeah, I'm gonna say. And Yang obviously recognizing the nature of this matchup with the Orb of Venom, just playing super aggressive. He will keep fighting him here. He doesn't care. Even if the tower and 5 creeps are hitting him, he has that level 3 reactive armor. So that will be probably another 2 tangos gone. And it's economic damage, right? You keep doing this over and over, and suddenly the lane is becoming a clear win Puppey.
BYW is going to lose this man fight to Puppey until DY came in, made things a little bit different. I actually, this is something that Arteezy said to me. He was like, right now, it's like net worth is like really important in the laning phase because people are using so many consumables. So our Void may be 22 and 6, but if we were to look at the net worth, I'm sure he'd be quite a bit lower than plenty of the other cores, as you're pointing out, because of that regen.
And it will get worse. This is the easier portion of the lane. When Timber hits 6, that's when it starts really costing you. Yeah. And he can't afford a Morbid Mask or something like this in addition to his time walks. So you see, every time he time walks damage off and goes in for CS, Yang is just on top of him. He's going to keep doing this over and over and over again. And we might see Matomaman just starting to cut waves. He did it before. He got the pull off. Yeah, now it's getting really nasty. There's the level 6 being hit by Yang. Good time walk dodge.
He's going to chakra him, try and catch him. Matomaman does dodge most of the damage. Nicely done there. Back over to PYW, chased by Nisha, skewer forward. Telekinesis is not going to let him get away unless into the high ground, in which case he's fine, especially with Ori cutting over. Now it's going to be Yapzor, who is in trouble, especially with Nisha having no mana to stop this assault from Ori.
And after being solo killed mid, Ori's now top of the net worth. That kill put him in first place. So he has recovered nicely. One of the heroes that can really take over a game like this. When you're playing against all these team fighters, being able to constantly fight. When there's cooldowns, you can just look for skirmishes, look for smaller scale plays. This is if you could choose any hero on Vici Gaming's lineup to have a good start, this would be the one, together with Jara. I honestly think you could, if you had to, you could have sacrificed Timber a bit, just so that the other guys could really get the work done. But all 3 cores are doing well.
Yeah, they're all very happy. The only people who are really sad in this game is the supports, who are constantly trying not to take their core's experience. And
I would say Zai isn't very happy either. He is very poor.
Yeah, I mean, all the supports are very poor, and all of them are very low level. It'll be interesting to see what that kind of results to in that 10-minute marker, when many people are probably not going to be 6 still, even with the tome coming in.
And Zai has 10 CS minutes, 7:30. They have destroyed him in this lane. That is actually crazy. It's one thing to win a lane, but I was not expecting to get this much of a trashing, and yeah, he might even die now. He is probably... No, it will be fine. He has sticks too. He has one disarmed and health. Fairy. And now they want to deal with this pesky Timbersaw. And
holding him up, does have the Chronosphere. He's going to be able to grab the 2 of them. Just go for the kill on PYW. The Splinter Blast was a little bit too far away to hit the Rubik, but there is Puppey to be able to burst him down. Matomaman, he's just 1 nuke away from dying here, but the time walk is up, but no! He gets struck down by Yang before he was able to get it off. A fair trade, certainly, for Vici Gaming. Chronosphere and a core kill. Well worth it. Zai, he's going to be chased down by the missile here. In serious trouble unless Vici Gaming can't get around these trees so easily. He tries to get to somewhere he can hide away, but 2,000 net worth lead for Vici Gaming as they find yet another core kill, and Yang continues to just bully Secret.
Yeah, that 3v2 kill is really, really important for him. Like, you were doing well already. The enemy team rotates to try to solve that lane, and it turns out to be an even trade. That's not even even. You killed a core for support in a 2v3. It's got to be a little bit demoralizing as well for Secret. Like, they're the level 3 Lich and a level 4 Wyvern. There's just no place on the map right now for them to make. Really feels like the guy they need to turn to right now is Zai, but his game is atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one big playmaker on the side of Secret, because both Magnus as well as Void are going to be a little bit more farmy. Lich and Winter Wyvern a little bit more team fight focused. So there's no one to make, as you said, the little plays around the game, a little pickoffs here and there. That would be the entire domain of a Pangolier, but he is too far out of it right now anyway. Secret, they're going to have to rely on that team fighting prowess big time, because it looks like they're going to be down a net worth when we approach that.
Oh, yeah,
especially with tower going down, and Puppey. Looks like they're trade out Puppey in exchange for a denied tower, so at least Secret do get half that tower bounty. Amy, whose teamwork has been impeccable, and then Secret individual skill and drafting now as continue by himself is able to hold the bottom lane as we approach that 10-minute outpost time.
Curious to see what item build Yang goes for. I think there's multiple routes you can take here. Looks to be maybe a hood into pipe build-up currently. Oh. Securing the rim. Is that all 4 for Vici?
That's all 4.
Oh boy, that's
all 4 and
4 rounds and 2 outposts. Yeah, that's rough.
That is rough indeed. So 2K gold lead abruptly turns into a 4K gold lead and a kill score that would be even. They're going to try and give YapzOr this bottom lane now that we do have our level 6 on the Pangolier, as is typical.
It's level 4 and the tome has been used. Yeah. He has no game right now. This is like very, very problematic for him. He had a huge impact on the last game with his Lich. This time around, it looks to be more of an uphill battle. Whose lane do you take? Do you take mid as a level 4 Lich 11 minutes in against Storm? You're going to get fed on. Do you go top? Pango really needs this space. Do you go bottom? Well, there was a Timbersaw before, which is not really playable for you. You tried. So a little bit kind of checkmated here on that support. And Vici is just going to keep running at them. Use this Timbersaw as the frontline bully, take this tower. And he, like we were talking about, this Ring of Health, it can go multiple directions. Maybe that's why he's buying it first. I do think we will probably see the pipe build, but he hasn't fully committed yet.
Okay. Yep, there it is. So did Defiance.
Now it should be a pipe build.
I would have been okay with just how far ahead he is with a Bloodstone at some point, but certainly you just want to secure your advantage some more with a pipe, right? Make sure that nobody can die, or he gotta make sure he doesn't get caught, but the Winter's Curse does hit him. Now Zai needs to be able to chain this stun off the wall into the RP on it too. But Tom Man's here as well. Can they get the bash? They don't need it. The damage is enough. His Secret show the first bit of team fight with a heavy rotation down to bottom lane. Puppey, okay, there's no stuns here. And when you miss your chain, there's no damage either. Oh, Puppey teleported up to the tier 2 to try and pull the creeps off the tower, but Yang's going to make sure those creeps don't go far. They're going to turn right back and continue hitting that objective as Puppey dies.
That's a long-distance gank. He kind of just extended it up to the lane. Yeah. That's a funny kill. They're pretty rare.
There must have been like nobody on Secret who wanted to be able to go top lane, and Puppey's like, well.
Yeah, somebody has to take the trash job, right?
Yeah.
You can't just let Yang sit here on his own completely, so you want to try to delay this inevitable snowballing. And the fight you just had bottom was really good. Like, the curse was clutch, being able to catch the Storm Mage. Okay, that was a courier.
Yeah, with the Urn of Shadows, which they really need the Spirit Vessel, so they needed to pick up the charges. You can see Yang right now, he's just trying to keep that Siege Wagon alive. That's why he's staying in range of the tower. Eventually it'll go down as Puppey kills it with the Frost Blast, and even Zai popping his ultimate here. All this is going to be used to little effect. It was mostly just to stop the siege damage.
Yeah,
but
didn't help much.
Yeah, now Vici Gaming just commit with more heroes, finish off that tier 2.
Still is a very good game for Nisha. We haven't been talking too much about him. He's been farming for the most part. He's 3-0, 150 CS. He got a good 2-min RP set up by that Winter's Curse. Got the Echo Saber finishing off a BKB probably in a couple of minutes here. I would guess like 4 or 5, which would be a very respectable timing feels like he has a lot of weight on his shoulders, right?
Yeah.
The other heroes are just too far behind. Pangolier's net worth is still a sight to behold.
Yeah, I mean, Yapstar is saying, I'm going to become the 3 now, as he's going to try and build up the Orchid Rush that we've seen some Winter Wyverns do.
Rush.
Yes, the good old 30-minute Orchid Rush, you know.
He could be getting into the decent timing still if they get one more good fight, but yeah, this Yang guy is a problem. Oh, they're going to pull him in.
Yeah, they do have the Rolling Thunder. They have Disables, plenty of them. But they don't necessarily have the damage to defeat this Timbersaw.
And it's problematic when you're parking like 3 or 4 heroes in this mid lane just to delay him, and it's not really working, because that means you're getting out-farmed on the map too, right?
Yeah.
You know this Yang doesn't have his whole team behind him.
Yep.
There's a relocate and maybe one support nearby.
I think that's the best part of an IO lineup with the Timbersaw, is that Timbersaw can play really far forward knowing he's got that bailout option.
Yep.
You have to worry about your positioning of your team a lot less with a combo like this. Plate mail as well, just to make sure that if he does lose his reactive armor stacks, he's still quite healthy.
Also, he did finish pipe. Straight Lotus. That's the next choice. Guess he wants to try to reflect curse.
Time dilation as well.
Time dilation for sure. There's added value in that. It's also a good protection against Sinister Gaze.
Yeah.
So has multiple uses in this game. Always love seeing that when you have Lotus. I feel like sometimes people buy this item to counter one specific thing, and it's 4K gold, right? I mean, it's a pretty expensive item, but if you feel like almost no matter what type of teamfight situation I get into, this item will be easy and useful for me to use.
He went for the deny on the tower. He's going to get away from it. No, the siege creep gets it instead. It was a cute move by Puppy. It's one of those situations where you're like, I got jack all to do else in this game, so I might as well try and deny tower.
Yeah, maybe they could stack more, but
then you run the danger of maybe Yang finding it or the gyrocopter.
I don't think I've seen Puppy be level 5 16 minutes in for a year. Maybe. But you know, you're playing with the App Store, you're both having a bad game, you know who gets that book. You know who gets the creep wave. It's not you, Puppy.
No. It's not the big man in the booth, that's for sure.
He's got to make sure to perform, though, or you know the machete comes out after the game, so yeah, so don't miss your curses, buddy. I'm counting on you.
If he accidentally curses during a Chronosphere or an RP.
During the perfect Chain Frost.
He's going to be sweating for sure. 5-5, but a 5K gold lead for Vici Gaming, as things are just looking pretty smooth for them. Yang is slowly but surely taking all these towers out. There is a gyrocopter who's farming all around the map. And even Ori's Storm Spirit is closing in on the Orchid. Once we have that, we'll probably see a bit more action in this game.
And this is an awesome neutral item, by the way, grabbed by, well, both Magnus and Timber have it, but I was going to say mainly on the Timbersaw. You get that extra mana regen out of the Essence Ring. It's super nice. And when you're this tanky hero, the HP burst is so much more effective HP.
Yeah.
When you have all that armor.
Rolling Thunder, that's going to miss onto Ori. We're hoping they would surprise him out the trees. Yang, meanwhile, he doesn't need to surprise anybody. He is just a mobile tank right now.
How tanky is he? Here's the challenge.
Well, they may need to relocate in because there's going to be so many heroes here. It's going to be all 5 of Secret. He's going to pop that Essence Ring. Time dilation is wearing off, so he's got a Timber Chain to be able to get himself away. But the bash at the right time. Skewers up as well, and Yang will finally fall. He stepped a tad too far, a little bit too deep in his secret side of the map.
I love when 5v1s take 15 seconds. That's my favorite. Yeah, if that bash didn't connect, he might have actually lived. It didn't look like Nisha was willing to commit the RP for this kill. Probably knowing that if they use a key cooldown like that on the 5v1, you're kind of inviting Vici Gaming to look for an opportunity. Then you would have both RP and Rolling Thunder on cooldown at the same time. But
it's always a awkward line to tread as a Timbersaw, right? You've got a little bit of strongman syndrome going on because for most of the game you're feeling like nobody can mess with you, and you want to use that strength to take objectives. You want to be a target, but simultaneously you always kind of have to be aware of feeding away the advantage that you've built up. Fortunately for this Timbersaw, he's been creating space for 2 independent cores to farm, so he's not the highest net worth on his team. Not by a bit. It's the gyrocopter and even Ori. who are way more farmed than him.
And it doesn't feel like the kind of game where Timber needs to do a lot of damage necessarily.
Right.
If he is misdirecting and if he is taking these key ultimates upon himself in the fights, I feel like that is inevitably going to result in a team fight win.
Kill, an instant chronosphere. Do they have enough damage? They're going to have the Sinister Gaze and bouncing off the neutral creeps or the Chain Frost. It certainly is enough.
That is exactly where you want to find the Storm with the creep camp next to him so that you can do that kill combo.
This great tamming on the BKB from Nisha means that he doesn't really care about the Storm Spirit or the Gyrocopter so much anymore. We're going to have that magic damage coming in. The Rolling Thunder is actually going to miss here. The telekinesis going off, stopping Nisha's retreat. Zai's going to make sure to keep that Gyrocopter controlled a little bit longer before he tries to escape. Now, is he actually going to make it off? They're going to have to relocate forward onto him, but it's still a bit of distance away. Another swashbuckle to the other side of the trees, and a TP out perhaps. No disables unless the telekinesis is up, but it's not. PYW still had that on cooldown. A clean escape by Zai and a lot of time bought.
I don't know why these plays make me laugh every time. Puppy randomly killed a creep with Frost Blast, I think, and it dropped the Dragon Scale.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and then Vici just ran over and picked it up, so now they have a free Dragon Scale on Io. So they're going to get 4 of the items of this tier against the 2 of Secret, and that's a pretty big deal. You know, you have the Essence Ring as well that you can pass over to this Io. I guess they will do that eventually instead of having it on Timber, who again is
he's falling fast. Telekinesis Essence Ring is that enough to be able to buy some time. Timber Chain, a little bit of distance, and he does have some help nearby. BT Gaming, they're coming in force. They want to be able to fight this one right now. The Gyrocopter's now here with the double damage, and it's Secret who have to retreat now, but he can't get away from this Storm Spirit, or he's certainly going to catch somebody. It's going to be the Winter Wyvern. A BKB TP out for Nisha. Make sure that he does escape. So Secret, they missed out on that Timber Saw kill, but fortunately they didn't lose too much for it.
It actually, when you think about it, when he's playing with Io, it says a lot about their read on the game that they keep the Essence Ring on Timber.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is just going to be playing alone and be playing so much for space that we're willing to not put it on easily the best hero in the game to have this item on usually on the Io. He will get it later, surely, but for now, it's been super helpful for Yang. Yeah. He survived because of it that time.
And he may just need it again as Zai and Matumba Man are going to pounce onto him. He's going to pop the Essence Ring now. The Rolling Thunder going out to chase down Gyrocopter instead. He does have the IO nearby, so he's certainly not in trouble right now. But they do have the right kind of RP potentially at Skewer 4, trying to get the 2 of them together, but not quite. Yang's a little bit isolated, and they already have to relocate, come out from the IO. Just in case the RP was used, they wanted to make sure Eurus was out of that engagement. They cannot afford to lose their highest net worth hero in the game right now.
And Secret, once again, they're piling heroes on this play. They didn't find anything, and this just opens up the map. Ori goes top, TP's there, starts pushing out. Looks like they're trying to make a quick play again. This time it's going to be the Void. Oh, no, not the same literal play.
Here again, it's there. They have the Spirit Fest as well. Poppy is going to be there with the Sinister Gaze to chain the stun. And Vici Gaming, maybe they're just playing a little bit too independent at this point. Chronosphere is down, so maybe they can make some use of that cooldown.
You need vision to play like that top, I think. You're playing into multiple hard lockdowns as Storm. You need to see something so that you can predict this movement from Secret. It's basically the exact mirror of the kill that happened bottom, just that this time they didn't need the Chain Frost because of Pango, but it was, again, Storm Spirit next to small creep camp getting chronoed from Fog.
Glimmer Cape. That'll certainly help against the Storm Spirit and could provide some extra initiation onto that Storm. Ori, been a little quiet in this series so far. Was expecting big things from his Storm Spirit with him being able to have this kind of free farm. Hasn't proven it just yet, and he's got some concerning things coming up. That Orchid being complete. Winter Wyvern's already scary lockdown because of the range of the Winter's Curse that can lead into other disables, but getting an Orchid in there as well, that'll make Ori's game awfully hard.
Secret, you know what's happening. Nice jump from Zai getting up on the high ground. And this could get awkward now.
Oh, tried to get the shockwave into a skewer. Yang's right in the middle of everybody right now. The Gyrocopter's going to drop his ultimate. Yang is a bit low, still has his hood and the Essence Ring. Eurus, he's in trouble, and they don't actually have a relocate out for him. He's in trouble. Oh, it just came up. He was able to get the relocate onto the high ground. There is a shrine active up there, so they're going to have their full health. Secret still have the RP, though, as well as the Winter's Curse. So many team fight items.
He probably knows they're here. Come on.
Well, hopefully he's going to be able to get out. No, the Skewer's going to be able to stop that Timber Chain. Tries to get out as much damage as possible. Well, him dead for 50 seconds. Could Secret actually take Roshan for themselves here?
Right, that looked like it was a bait, but nobody was nearby. Like, he was so willingly just walking into the middle of the map after just having both teams disengage around this Roche pit. I thought somebody would be able to help him, but no. He was just completely left alone. And, man, they lose the Roshan to Secret again. This is the 4th in a row in the series going Secret's way, and it really seems to be how they're winning these games is around this Roshan pit.
I don't know about you, Synderen, but I feel like we saw a little bit from last game, but this game especially, I feel like Vici Gaming is maybe giving too much respect to Secret. They seem terrified of all this team fight, that they're just playing for space and for farm. Maybe I have the wrong read on the game, but I would have thought that Vici Gaming could have tried to, aggressively fight Secret a little bit more than this.
Yeah, I think the moment Storm picked up the Orchid, there was the possibility of doing something like that. They just haven't really found the openings. Their lineup doesn't have the best catch either, right? They have,
Yeah, so he set this up. TY's just going to commit. The Winter's Curse is going to stop the outpost from being claimed and the bounty rune from being nabbed.
Yeah, I do agree. I think Vici could, with all the space Yang has made, they should be able to, once in a while at least, find some sort of skirmish, or even if it is a team fight, I don't think it's impossible to team fight into this lineup. It looks scary, right? There's so many AoE abilities, but if your heroes aren't on top of each other, Secret spellcasting is not that easy. Storm on one side of the fight, Timber on another, Gyro playing from a distance with some spells, but yeah, they're playing it very safe. Now, here's a big item coming in. This might be what they were waiting for. Finally, BKB is completed on the Gyrocopter.
Do you see that? They passed over the Essence Ring onto the Void so he could get himself a little bit of heal and then passed it back off again.
Efficiency.
Yeah. Even passing him some mangoes as well now, so everyone's happy, everyone's healthy, and 2 of them are empowered so they can hit this tier 2. Vici Gaming not going to try and fight this, it seems. Looking to trade things out while the Aegis is still on Matumba Man. Chance
to quiver. Yeah.
I feel like we both have a similar concepts on the ideas on that item. It's not the best.
Yeah, I'm not sure who you give it to here. There was one other game I saw. It was given to Gyro, giving him that long-range attack all
with the smoke, instantly a double bash coming out from our Void, but getting disabled up. He's trying to use his Aegis right now. Gonna pop the BKB. Now that he's grabbed that IO, the stolen Chronosphere could spell bad things here. As Sun wants to be able to get away from the Rolling Thunder, they're gonna lock down this room to make sure that Chronosphere is not used aggressively. Matumba Man, he's gonna be losing his Aegis here, but the Rolling Thunder knocking up Ori. Maybe they're running out of damage though with the buyback being used. Vici Gaming feeling comfortable taking this fight, but what if they can't actually catch the Secret hero? Secret getting out with the spider legs, the time walk, all the mobility that they have, and the buybacks there from Vici Gaming feel quite ineffective.
That was awesome for Secret, I think.
Yeah.
They get a very good way of using their Aegis. They get a couple of kills, a couple of buybacks, lose nothing. Great. You didn't even, you did use some spells. You still have Chain Frost and Curse for disengage purposes if Vici tried to pressure you right now. And it just, I feel like Secret kind of just, I want to say got away with it almost in these last 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Does feel like the Vici Gaming against what I've seen them play against other teams, they would have played with a lot more confidence of out team fighting somebody. Oh, nice fast blink away, but it does leave Yang a little bit isolated right now. Or he knows he has to go for that Winter Wyvern to make sure that Orchid and that Winter's Curse isn't used, but he was locked down by Secret and instantly blown up. Now Eurus, without one of his damage dealers, has to be able to back away, but there's too much physical damage from the Void and the Magnus. They're going to stick onto him with this blink dagger. Eurus not going to be able to get away. Nisha's just too big, and off of a buyback, 2 buybacks from the supports. They both die now.
Secret are playing super well around each other. It looks so easy when they do this spell casting and these moves, but it's like, it's blink of an eye decision making where they just identify, okay, there's 2 heroes close together, immediately spell cast, right?
Yep.
This is the exact thing that Vici needs to not have happened. The one fight they finally choose to take is right outside the enemy base with Storm and Timber on top of each other. This is what you can't do against AoE-based spells. You can't stack your heroes like this. Your 2 most mobile heroes simply cannot be on top of each other like this.
And empowered DD Magnus is going to make short work of these buildings, especially with the help of the Faceless Void. Yang is trying to distract them as best he can, but he's got to be careful about going too far here, and maybe he just did. All right, long jump in, almost actually taking out that Faceless Void. The Bloodstone keeping him alive, but eventually it will lose its effectiveness, and Matumba Man kept alive by the Cold Embrace means that Vici Gaming once again have to trade some heroes out to be able to defend an objective.
Secret's just been looking better today overall. I think in this game there were so many problems. The game was looking grim, and they still pull it together with excellent decision making and team fighting in the mid game. Getting the Roshan first series was, more even early on, but it kind of had Secret written all over it draft wise, and going into that later portion of the mid game, they seem like they've come really well prepared.
Yeah.
And I still need to see that fire from Vici Gaming in any of these games, really. I don't think it's only in this game that they've been playing, like a little scared of Secret.
Sure.
In the first game, I didn't really feel like they took initiative in the same way either. It was mainly Secret dictating the pace of the game. And see, I mean, it's easier said than done if you're playing against a strong opponent. You can't just run at them.
But even compared to the way they played against EG, right?
Yeah.
It felt like their attitude was just different. Oh, with Chronosphere there from Matumba Man. This is an opportunity for Vici Gaming. But it's an opportunity they have to make sure they don't get caught by Nisha's Magnus. He tries to get the skill in. Fortunately, there is that telekinesis stopping it, but Eurus is left a little bit alone right now. Yang is going to try and help him out. RP threatened to come in. DY, Chain Frost is going to be throwing Rising Tethers in. They quickly identify the Wisp and take him out of the fight. Now the RP laid down onto the Gyrocopter. Nisha's willing to blow this on just the carry because he's able to one-shot him. Now Ori coming back in. Windsurge Curse to be able to stop that damage onto the Magnus. The Orkin's going to burn him out a little bit more, but a Cold Embrace to be able to save him, not good enough. Yang is going to be able to get him with the pure damage, but it's Yang against the world, and the world will eventually win here as Yang is going to be forced to try and retreat, but he has no Yules, he has no mobility tools, and they have plenty of stuns to stop a Timber Chain. That's a 1-for-5 wipe. Secret just seemed to be able to outmatch Vici Gaming at every turn. $4,000 net worth, man, and Secret. Better late game as well. I mean, with this much team fight, right? You like, these heroes are always going to be effective. They're always going to be terrifying for Vici Gaming. It just seems like the overwhelming amount of team fight they have means that Nisha can always use an RP very freely.
Yep, that's one upside when you have it in abundance, is that you can use it on a single hero, but the reason it is working out this well is that at this point I just think Secret's heroes have got way more than they bargained for. Like, they were losing 2 lanes hard in this game. They lost both side lanes. Zai had a terrible game. Void was definitely losing as well. And it's just been taking it through one fight at a time.
Back in. All right, one fight at a time, one pickoff at a time.
Finally something for Vici.
Yeah.
See if they can find anything more. Doesn't look like it. Puppy's going to get out here. No problem.
Well, I'd love to see them do something more. I mean, there's still the Chronosphere down with Winter Wyvern dead as well. I'd love to see them go for a fight, but they're also closing in on some key item timings like the Satanic from Eurus. His survivability is a big issue in these fights. 50 seconds till the Roshan is up. That's perfectly timed for Secret, whose Yapzor Winter Wyvern will be up in time.
I don't think there was that much of a threat of Vici taking it anyway. Their lineup is just not good at killing Roshan.
Yeah,
it takes really, really long for these heroes.
Meanwhile, Secret's great at it, with so much physical damage, plus a Pangolier to disarm and lower the armor of a Roshan. 45 attack speed versus 40 movement speed. talents for Gyro and Void. There just doesn't seem like a whole lot Vici Gaming is willing to do right now besides wait for Secret to try and do Roshan and then hopefully play around that point.
They do have a 10-second BKB Storm. The thing about BKB in this game, though, is just how many solutions there are, right? There's Chrono, RP, and Curse.
Yep.
But, again, if you split your heroes wisely, I think it's more about positioning than items at this point. Like, you have to have found that opening in the past, and you still need to do it. Well, let's see, Secret, man, he's going to town on this.
Yeah, the Paladin Sword he picked up actually gets him the sustain to solo Roshan right now. You're just going to dip his head into the pit to be able to find Matamba Man. And so Roshan will not be snuck away here. But Vici Gaming can't necessarily do it themselves. A lack of physical damage and smoke up from Secret. Once again, they're going to be the ones trying to take the first step in these team fights. Yang, well, we're going to be here ages if they're just going to let him try and solo it.
PYW saw Zai using that Arctic Burn.
Nice. Get a little bit of stacks of the reactive armor on the Timber Saw, but they're going to fade, so he's got to go back in there, build him up again. This is one of the worst parts about a Roshan fight for a Timber Saw. You're going to be starting off with that 0 reactive armor stacks. Made quite squishy. And Abyssal Blade up for the Magnus. Nisha has plenty of initiation opportunities. Blink, Skewer, and Abyssal Blade, all mobility tools to get on top of the enemy. And one more tool against the BKB of Storm.
Yeah, that's, you know, now they've reached the point where they can even start itemizing single target lockdown, right? They've had all these AoE lockdowns. Oh, here we go, Chrono.
Oh man, the Chrono Sphere is going to be used to make sure they do manage to pick up Aegis. The Cheese telekinesis, but can they actually get there in time? He's going to try and grab it, but he time walk back in. The RP pulling away for the Aegis. Now locking down Eurus. He does manage to pick up that Cheese and heals himself with it. Sign that back line, but Nisha immediately Abyssal Blaze onto the Wisp to be able to take him out. There's going to be a buyback there, though. Eurus going toe-to-toe with Yang with the help of Ori. And might be able to bring him down. Yule Scepter buying a little bit of time to swashbuckle over the side, but Zai will eventually die. Team Secret retreating, though, feeling like enough buybacks were used by Vici Gaming that they're okay with that engagement. After all, Matamba Man got that secondary life in the Aegis.
Yeah, and the cheese was expended by Vici as well, so they did grab that one. That was some really clutch plays going on. First of all, it was a great telekinesis by PYW to begin so that the Aegis was in jeopardy, and then the RP coming in, securing it for Secret. Find the Rubik.
Or he's low on mana, but he will have enough to be able to hold Nisha here as Eurus comes in. The call to brace. Can they actually see him? They're running out of magic damage. He's healing up a decent amount. Can there's any way for him to get away? No, Yang in Timber Chain. Zai actually fight back. There's 2 heroes that are going to be dying back here. That is trouble now for Team Secret. Puppy's going to be snagged up as well. Orchided. Yapzor doesn't have his Winter's Curse. Not much he can do to stop this.
Oh, shit.
This game might have changed, Cinderin. Team Secret, I thought they got away cleanly after that Roshan fight.
Yeah, finally, I mean, I said finally already the last time they found a kill, but this time there were so many cooldowns used by Secret in that Roche fight, and Vici found one quickly after. First time really that Secret slip up a little bit and get caught off guard.
They've made very few errors. They're just going to throw everything they have out there to try and push Vici Gaming back. They do not want to be losing a lane of barracks or even just a tier 3. But with 60 seconds on a Pangolier, Vici Gaming, they should know this is their opportunity to be able to turn this game around.
Yang sporting 71 armor.
That seems fair.
Yeah, nothing wrong here.
Matamba Man, he does have an Aegis as well as a Cold Embrace if they need to. Glimmer Cape is actually what bails them out here. But it's hard for Eurus to be able to commit, so they're just going to take the tier 3, grab that Shrine. Maybe it wasn't as much as they were hoping for, but again, it's still a big opportunity, especially if they take another fight soon, while the Pango and Magnus still don't have buyback. Double Dragon Scale Rubik. A rare build indeed. All that armor is going to have to come in handy here for Yang. Lotus Orb helping with the time dilation a bit. No, actually time dilation after the Lotus Orb. Skewer, but the Timber Chain lands after the Skewer hit him, so he is able to jump away.
I wonder what you buy as a secret to kill this Timber down the stretch. If he gets another strong defensive item, he's going for a Hex now, but with the Bloodstone heal, Craggy Coat, Lotus Orb, and Pipe in these fights, if there's any sort of protection for him, it seems like Secret's single target damage at least is a little bit lackluster. Maybe something like a Bloodthorn could solve it. It's actually going to be Yapsor's item of choice on the Wyvern. Yeah. So I thought maybe we would be looking for it in the Magnus.
I'm surprised they took this long to get the Heaven's Halberd, by the way. Against a Magnus and a Void. And also, Heaven's Halberd is kind of broken on Timbersaw. The regen amplification that you get out of it, I feel like this item could have been picked up earlier by Yang, but...
Yeah.
You know, again, he was feeling himself. He picked up that Bloodstone, in part because he was ahead early.
The item is also getting better now that BKBs are dropping lower. It's more likely that you get to cast it the way you want.
That's true.
If Secret are the ones taking the initiative with 10-second BKBs, you're going to be waiting around quite a while to be able to use this item. Whereas now, if you use it first, obviously great. If not, you're probably going to survive long enough to at least get it off on one key hero. Until the Bloodthorn comes out. I actually think with Bloodthorn, he could die.
15% in power cleave. That's going to be great for him. That's another 30%, but then also just putting on Matumba Man is very strong. Rolling Thunder. Oh, that was a little close. Zai does manage to find the IO, so they'll lock down DY unless he can actually get away because he jumps on a PYW and relocate out. He's safe.
Well, is he?
Well, let's
maybe
see.
He is. It looks like Secret are kind of lingering.
Yeah, they're lingering maybe a little bit too long because Vici Gaming's coming here in force. The relocate is coming back here, so Eurus should feel comfortable here. This is going to be the first life Matumba Man, perhaps. Call the Brace actually keeping him alive still. He also has Satanic and might be able to turn in lifesteal a little bit. Ori actually jumping in, but the Winter's Curse locking him down. Now they have the Orchid. Timbersaw going into a bit of Chronosphere onto the side. Is going to be able to finish off DY. A stolen Chronosphere locking down 4 heroes underneath all of this one, but Eurus is too unhealthy to be able to turn and take advantage of this disable, and he's going to be chased down. The Abyssal Blade up. Ori, no buyback for him, so he can't help out his brother Eurus in defending this, and that means 3 heroes are dead on Vici Gaming with no buyback. PYW not going to make it away either. A shield crash in a vain attempt to survive. 4 dead, no buyback, and once again, Yang is left in a 1v4 to try and defend the base.
Yeah, this is at least 2 lanes. It's actually GG if Secret goes straight forward, I think. They might just go right down mid and start hitting the tier 4s. They would play the barracks first. They don't know exactly what the buyback status is. If they had this information, they would be ending the game right now. They might still be able to do it regardless. No, it will be 2 lanes of racks, playing it very safe, and this will not allow them to end.
Yeah, 3 heroes
respawning.
3 heroes on the side of Vici Gaming that don't have it because of gold.
Yeah.
So they're anticipating that Ori and Eurus would buy back if they win for Throne.
I love the way Secret set up this fight, by the way. Matumba Man playing super aggressive because he knows he has the level 25 and Aegis. And Vici actually took the bait. They started running into the high ground where Secret were well placed, and eventually they chased so far that they got to cast their curse in a 2-man chrono. And I think Vici had every choice in the world there to wait out the Aegis instead of forcing that fight 30 seconds before it expires. They started going on this void and just really felt a bit stressed in this moment. It is hard to keep track of everything. I'm not going to downplay that. But once again, these games around Aegis, man, it's Vici's bane every game. It's that damn Roshan. If only it wasn't in the game.
Maybe
they would be doing much better.
Yeah, they would be in a much better situation against Vici Gaming. Really considering, was that a Divine Rapier being queued up by Matumba Man? I'm not sure if that's necessary, Matsu.
Make it exciting.
Yeah, could be.
If you die, you give it to Gyro. That's problematic.
That could be a game changer for sure. The Rolling Thunder going to be used as the Timber Chain on cooldown. Catch him once, Sinister Gaze in so many disables, especially with the Bash, as well as the Basher on Nisha. Yang is just very unlikely to be able to get a Timber Chain ever. He's going to try and go the other direction, and does manage to cut down a few trees, but he's just going deeper into Secret's face.
This is so long.
Even with like a Bloodthorn and everything, yeah.
Oh, when the Bloodthorn connected, it went faster, to be fair, but man. He's so tanky, and it really goes to show how good of a pick it is in this game. Like, I think that was an excellent choice from Vici Gaming. They just haven't really put it all together. I like what they're trying to do here, though. They know Aegis is out. Secret might feel confident because Timber is dead. If they go for the tier 2, they could be punished from this high ground. But now that the smoke has faded on Io, or maybe Io was never smoked to begin with, Secret's kill ward is just sitting here. They haven't checked the most obvious ward spot.
They know exactly what's going on here. That's why they're going to be able to get the 2-man RP into the backline. Nisha is trying to finish up this Storm tier. Fortunately, Aeon Disc from DY will do a lot of work for them. Matumban being controlled up does manage to get out the BKB. Satanic healing him up to full as he's going to be able to beat DY to a pulp. He's dead, no buyback. Winter's Curse setting up the Rolling Thunder as well. Matumban is actually going to get out here. Same goes with Zai. Zai's going to pass on by here.
There's a Winter's Curse. There's 2 heroes fighting. There's just a car driving by. Like, nobody's coming out to help.
See you later.
That was my favorite moment of the tournament, I think. Just watching Zai drive by that and just leave.
Yeah.
Oh, it was great.
It's the other side of the river he goes. Double damage on Matumban means that they're not afraid of fighting, even though they've used RP, Chronosphere, Rolling Thunder. Every bit of ultimates that they have is not up, and they're still not afraid of Vici Gaming.
It's a big deal that Io is dead. It means a lot for their ability to single a target out right now. But obviously, tons of cooldowns on Secret. This move can backfire if they don't kill Euros before Io respawns. There is a tier 2 as a connection point for the Io if he doesn't want to relocate in. But Euros gets out just in time going to the left. Will lose a shrine.
Well, or is he? Euros.
Oh, okay, they really want to protect the shrine so that they can access their worst enemy, Roshan.
Roche is up in 35 seconds. They lose that shrine. They lose a lot of control over the Roshan pit.
I think that was a good glyph. I mean, you could argue you should maybe be saving it for a base push, but I think that's playing to lose, right? You gotta play for this exact moment and have everything come together.
A flicker.
Not the biggest fan of that item.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that one, though.
Yeah, Spell Prism.
Spell Prism is really good. Getting that on Magnus also feels very nice.
Witless Shaco means that Puppy is very hard to kill. And I'd actually love that flicker to go over the App Store just to make sure he can't. It's a little bit harder to bring him down when Storm is always trying to hunt you, it seems like. We still going for that Divine Rapier on Matumban? We'll see. No, MKB.
Right.
A better, safer, more conservative choice.
Knowing Matsu, he might have just put it into his quick buy without telling his team, just to see what the reaction is when they see it. He could have totally done that. I wouldn't even be surprised. So, like,
just a few minutes later, you hear Puppy, Matu. Quickly switches up to MKB. No, I wasn't going. Not me.
Some vocal threats. That'll help.
Can't forget about those denies at 46 minutes in, but you also can't forget about your base, which has quite a healthy invasion of dire creeps in it.
Yang is back to take care of business. He has boots of travel, so he can connect on the shrine.
That short window while he's not here, Secret are going to attempt a Roshan here. All the missiles being thrown out, just in case. Yang's already back, but he didn't fully deal with the invasion. There's another round of creeps going, so this is about that time Secret can just kind of chill out and, you know, at best, Vici Gaming's going to bleed out a little bit of buildings.
I think this item on Gyrocopter can actually make a pretty big difference. The Princess Knife in this game.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, the way Vici Gaming are taking fights is they're moving in Gyro first to get information. Now they're going to do it with Yang. But this 1.5 second hex can be enough to get us a little bit of a surprise jump. Yang, though, is taking a lot of damage.
The missiles are coming in. They're going to be able to chain stun Matumban for quite some time until the RP. Skiller on in, locking down the 2. The Chain Frost actually bouncing back on a Secret, but they don't care because the BKBs allows them to focus on the Gyrocopter. That Rolling Thunder bouncing up on DY. The A1 Disc does actually protect it for the time being, but PYW not so lucky there. They do manage to get the Orchid on a Matumban, but a Lotus Orb coming out for Zai does save any time, walks away. A Winter's Curse on all 4 heroes here, and that is a Storm Spirit who's just dead. He's going to be able to buy back. And they do actually finish off Puppy, but that is a small consolence that they need to be able to bring down some of these damage dealers like Matumbaman, who's still fighting on the front line. Alright, going for the Absolute Dosman to take out another one of the supports, but DY is not going to survive for long as he Blade cuts him down. Matumbaman, he breaks down the Gyrocopter. Damage to running low on Vici Gaming. It's just Ori left with no mana, and now he falls as well. That's it, Vici Gaming. Call it here, secret. A pretty clean 2-0, a convincing victory as they head to the grand finals.
They were clearly better today. Series had a lot of really close fights, but it felt like Secret were just on a different level. They go into this series, they basically like, hey man, we're gonna pick 5 team fighters, we're gonna lose 2 lanes. We don't care, you guys are gonna have to fight us and we're gonna beat you in these team fights eventually. And they did. The first game, different style a bit. They still, Secret definitely have team fight every game. That seems to be the recipe that they're always covering. I wanna say their first lineup was more well balanced and had less like weaknesses to be exploited by Vici Gaming than this one, but still. It felt like after 25 minutes, you weren't really worried for them anymore.
No.